good. Guys, happy Friday. Thank you so much for your time. This is Carolyn Cope from Bridge Marketing. I'm going today from Ball, Minneapolis, where it's a lovely 12 degrees. But I really wanted to talk with you about a couple things. The first is going to be geofencing. I know a lot of you are selling geofencing, and a lot of the clients are really interested in it. But I wanted to clarify what exactly it is, more importantly, what it's not, when we should include it in campaign proposals, and how we at Cumulus can do it better than other companies that are offering geofencing. And the one to cover today is native advertising. I get a lot of questions on what exactly is native advertising, where do the ads appear, what do they look like, so I'll as well. After I chat for a few minutes, we've got a guest speaker today from the Providence market, Patrick. We'll have a great case study that I believe it's a geofencing case study to share with all of you. So to jump in, what is geofencing? So geofencing is it's a term that a lot of companies are talking about today. It's one of the probably trendier digital products that advertisers are really interested in. And basically what it means is a really great strategy that has a unique way of targeting the audience. So the way it works is we'll set up a digital fence, which is what the geofence is, and fences can be as small as 20 meters in size. So we can get really small to a pinpoint location. And they also have to be a specific circle. The way we do geofencing is we can set it at latitude and longitude coordinates. To have a park or a venue or an office building or something that's not just a radius around a point, we absolutely can do that. And what happens is, anytime a consumer enters that geofenced area with a mobile device, their mobile device ID is picked up in our system, and we can serve advertisements to those people on their phone. The consumer has to be in the geofence for 2 minutes, typically, for that device to get picked up in our system. Then once that's picked up, we can serve them advertisements. And one of the differences is that most companies usually use a circle as the geofence, so they can't really get specific in terms of the shape. And the problem with that is if you target a real specific area, like the San Diego Zoo and the area around it, and you just use a circle, you're either going to have to cut out parts of geographical area that you want to target, or going to have to expand it, and then to be targeting people that aren't relevant, they're not actually in that space they're trying to. I know that a lot of companies go down as small as 100 meters in size, but we can actually get much smaller than that, which allows us to target much more accurately. So as I spend 2 minutes inside that geofenced area, that's when their mobile device is activated, and we can start serving ads on their phone. One thing to clarify is that the ads that are served on those mobile devices are not pop-up notifications. So a lot of advertisers are under the impression that if they geofence maybe a competing store and a consumer goes into that competing store, all of that in our advertisers' ads are going to start popping up on that phone. And it doesn't work that way. The consumer actually has to open their phone and open up an app. And if that is part of a network, we may be able to serve an ad to that person on that app. Which is to it as geofence or geofarming is we don't necessarily have to serve all of the ads while the people are still inside that geofenced area. And this is actually what we recommend doing because it allows us to guarantee that we can actually get all of those impressions served that we're investing in. So farming means is we geofence the area exactly the same way. We target audience and pick up their mobile devices, but then for the next 30 days, we can serve ads to people as they're using apps on their phone. So it doesn't actually all have to be served while the person is still inside that geofence area. So what not? It's really important, I think, when we're when presenting this product to clients to not mislead them. So again, geofencing is not a push notification. Just because somebody walks into that area doesn't mean everyone is going to start seeing ads. It really depends on whether or not that person starts using apps on their phone. It's not an extremely effective product to pitch if the goal that the advertiser has is conversions. It's really good for branding because every single impression we serve will be served to somebody who is in that geofenced area. But because they're so small and because a lot of people who use apps are trying to do something else at the time, a lot of people don't tend to click on ads that are displayed in an app setting. So if clicks is the goal or if conversions is the goal, and that's how they're going to measure the success of the campaign, they want to incorporate something else into their campaign. And so is not something that works very strong when it's the only product that we pitch to the client. So it works very well if it's paired with radio or if it's paired with other digital products. So it's an add-on product. It's great if you're already selling them radio and you want to add on something different, especially for Geofence, an event maybe that advertiser is sponsoring. If it's an event that the station is putting on, like a show or any type of community event. Okay, again, we want to include geofencing if brand is the #1 goal. If it's a public service announcement, if they're just trying to get their brand in front of a large group of relevant people who are local, then it's an awesome tool for branding. So as long as we pitch it that way, we should be fine. But to avoid it if you know your client is going to look at the conversions and the clicks. An audience that's at a specific event so that then we can remarket to those people, maybe promote the next event that's coming up. It's a great tool for that. Again, especially if we're pairing it with radio. If you want to get an audience that's at a convenience store of the client, it's a really good tool to competitive advantage. So if your client is very concerned that there's another store that's stealing their business, this is a really great product to incorporate into their campaign mix. It's also a really good product if we want to remarket it to consumers after they've been in a certain area. So I like to encourage people to geofence their own business location so that they can send ads to keep them coming back. Key differentiators. So there's a couple big reasons that I'm talking about geofencing, especially if I know the client is already buying it from somebody else, because people-based marketing technology, there's a way that we can do it that's much more advanced and sophisticated. So as I mentioned, some of the easy differences to identify is that the competitors that are also selling this product, their geofence tend to be as small as 100 meter size, and we can go to 20 meters. Other geofencing usually create fences that are just circular in shape, where we don't have to do that. We can be very accurate with how we're setting up the geofence. Other companies serve as through anybody that enters that geofenced area and start using apps on their phone. But what we do is we can actually capture the audience, and I narrow down even further. So what I mean is, let's say a competitor is geofencing a concert. They're just going to target and start serving ads to every single person who's at that concert. But if it's the same event, let's say only want to target females who are at the concert, or millennials who are at the concert, or maybe we only want to target a certain ethnicity who's at the concert. We can really on the audience that's in that geofenced area even more and not just serve ads to the entire group of people. So that's a really key differentiator. That other companies who offer geofencing, they only can serve ads through the app on the people's phones, and it's same phone that is picked up when we enter that geofenced area. It's that same device that enters the geofence. It's the same device that's going to start receiving the ads. But the way we do it is because people-based marketing technology and our ability to serve ads in a cross-device fashion, we target the geofence area and pick up those device IDs, but serve ads to people across other devices that they own. So we're hitting them at a higher frequency from other devices and other angles. Is that we can do trigger campaigns. So campaign trigger is an example of what you see on the screen now. So we can do weather triggers, we can do sports triggers, and basically what that means is, let's say, for example, we want to do a campaign in Denver, and we target the Sports Authority field at Mile High, which is where Denver Broncos play. If we have a reserve that wants to offer one promotion if the Broncos win, but a different promotion if the Broncos lose, we can do that. So that's what you see on the hand side, where if the Broncos win, Papa John's is offering 50% off your entire purchase. But if the Broncos lose, then it's just a standard generic offer of $7 pizza. So these are interesting things, especially in radio, because we do have so many events going on and so many sponsorship opportunities. We get really clever with stuff like this. So this puts us at a huge advantage when we talk about geofencing with our clients. So advertising. This is a question, and I get asked a lot of questions, especially from the sales reps. So I think it's really important that we can them and help them understand what native advertising is, especially because ads tend to get 53% more eyeballs than standard digital ads. So more people notice them and more people pay attention to the native ads versus standard banner ads. Basically, what a native ad is it just means that the ad is formatted in a different way so that it looks like it's a natural part of the content of what a consumer is looking at. The ads are still served on website or desktop sites, mobile sites, and mobile apps, but they're just kind of disguised and placed on sites and apps so consumers' eyeballs have to see them. They're looking at what they want to look at. So it looks like it's a natural part of the content. So I really like this example because if you look on the right-hand side, these are just static banner ads. This Delta ad, it's very easy to ignore. I'm going to pay no attention to that Delta ad. But if I'm interested in this article and I'm actually reading it on Huffington Post, and this right here is placed in between two paragraphs, I have to look at it. My eyes are just naturally going to skim over it. So they're more, they get much more exposure than typical banner ads. So took on Thrillist. This is another website that offers a lot of different articles and news information and recipes and things like that, things for lifestyle interests. And at the bottom of every article, you get recommended articles of things that they think you'll be interested in because of the article that you just looked at. But if you look closely, you'll see some of these where payment and just articles by Thrillist. This one over here of the Reuben sandwich says sponsored on it. And that's a native ad. It blends in. It looks like something that you would normally look at anyway, but it's actually an advertisement. Example. So at the end of an article I'm looking at, if I see relevant, similar stories that are in the news right now, I see political articles, but then there's also a native ad here, and I can tell it's native because it says sponsored by Smart Asset. That it's actually an advertisement, but it's native because it's disguised as something that's supposed to be there anyway. And so I don't know if Patrick's online. Tiffany, do you know if he's on?
Yes, I just have one question that was sent in.
Sure.
So asked, can we only serve geofence ads to consumers who are already in the PBM database?
Nope, that's a good one. So yeah, geofencing is totally separate from our database. So we truly are targeting the audience that just enters that geofenced area.
Cool. So we have Patrick. I think he's just muted. So Patrick, if you want to try to unmute yourself, and then we can get started.
Make sure you guys can hear me. Am I coming in okay?
Yep, you're right. Thanks.
Sure. So I just wanted to go over one of the more successful campaigns that we've had and piggyback a bit off of Carolyn's comments about geofencing. It's Life Care Centers of America, and it's a nursing services center here in Rhode Island. And they've been doing some radio with us and a little bit of local digital on our owned and operated sites. And that was basically to get new patients in. And so conversation with the account executive, the client mentioned that they were also looking to do recruitment, and did she have any suggestions? And we started talking about C-suite and the ability to target, and that really got the interest of the client. So they started it locally, and we put together a specific recruitment campaign, including geofencing, which we would geofence local hospitals and competitive rehab centers, promoting the fact that Care Centers of America was looking to hire nurses. Well, in a month or so, they said they were seeing an uptick in interest, seeing an uptick in resumes, and they really felt like the campaign was working locally. Could we expand it outside the market? So we had a few more locations outside the market, and every couple of months we've been adding more and more. So what started out as a very low-level recruitment campaign has grown to about $7,000 per month, and we're adding in locations almost monthly at this point. So really what we've learned from this is not only is geofencing an important part of recruitment, especially when you know exactly what those competitive locations are for clients who are looking to hire specific people, but also the fact that recruitment as a category in general works really well with C-suite. We incorporated targeted ads, geofencing, and email. And that as we go out there, a lot of businesses with multiple locations or franchises, places who are looking to do recruitment, or real estate offices, even hair cutting places, anywhere with multiple locations, it's a lot easier for them to take on the cost when they're able to spread it out per location. So even though it's a $7,000 per month campaign with us, their locations at this point are only paying about $300. And so from the client's words, he basically said, it doesn't make sense for us not to do this. We're getting such a great return on investment, and it's such a low price point, especially because the branches are individually paying for it, but we're in a cumulative response that is great. We don't see an end to this ever. And so ultimately, we're trying to prove the point month to month to add more and more locations. And with one specific client, we have an upside of potentially $50,000 a month if we were to add in all their locations nationally. So one of the talking points now as we go out with our ease here in Providence, we just ask the client, do you have other locations that might be able to take advantage of this technology? Is there a way that we can group multiple places in all at once? And especially the talking point of, is it outside the market? A lot of times you'll have one local person who may manage other states or other regions, but they'll have contacts in, and they can start building from there. So overall, I would say for us, recruitment has been extremely successful. It's building. The client is seeing a response. And that by adding in the targeted ads, geofencing, and email, that's really what's made this successful for us. No, actually wrapped it up, Tiffany.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know if you still had something else to say.
No, that was extremely successful for us. We actually spoke with them again this week, and they, again, are looking to consistently add into new satellite locations. So I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Okay, cool. So then also, you guys submitted a video for the Giddy Up series. So if anybody wants to send that video, you can also ask me, and I'll send you the link. It's on the CC group. So it might also be cool to listen to how the actual AE was talking about it, to give you another kind of view. Have this step, and along with the recording link, if anybody wants to send it to other AEs to give you another review of things. And thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks, Tiffany. Weekend.